Hello guys, my name is Destiny Franks and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we're gonna go ahead and continue from where we stopped in the last video. So in the last video, we went over our project, like we went over all that we'll be doing in this project and actually showed you guys the ins and outs from the front end to the back end to the database of what we'll be building. Then in this video, we're gonna go ahead and jump right into live coding and we're gonna just start putting some things down and actually setting up our project and all that, so we actually have something going. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy it, and if you do not forget to drop a like for the YouTube algorithm, consider subscribing, and also check out some links in the description why it might be helpful to you. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing you want to do is open up a command prompt. So you're going to open up a command prompt, or you open up a PowerShell or a terminal if you are on a Mac. So I'm on a Windows PC. I'm just going to open up a command prompt, and in this command prompt I want to create a project on my desktop. So how do I come over to my desktop from my command prompt? All I have to do is change directory to desktop, just like that, and as you can see, it's now came to desktop. Now I want to make a new folder here, but I don't want to right click, come over to new and come over to folder. I want to make it with the command prompt. How do I do that? All I have to do is say mkdir, then I'm gonna call it whatever I want. So let's say I want to call it Stack Overflow. So I'm just going to call it Stack Overflow, just like that. We hit enter. Now, as you can see, it makes the project over here. So I want to go into this project. Let's just go into it, cd into Stack Overflow, just like that, and now we are in this project. So in this project, we're going to make what we call virtual environments in Django. So if you're a beginner, I'm sure you might not know what virtual environment is, or maybe you must have heard about it somewhere else, or maybe in another tutorial. But if you're not a beginner, obviously you should know what a virtual environment is. But if you don't know, let me just explain to you guys. A virtual environment is just pretty much an isolated project files and folder that's different from your main Django whole setup and installation. I know you might not understand, but let me just put it in the easiest language or in the easiest words that I can use. So for example, let's say you wrote an application in Django 1.5 and now we have Django 3.0, and you do not actually have any virtual environment when you wrote the application in Django 1.1, and now a new version is out. Do you know what's going to happen? Your Django 1.1 files and projects that you wrote would actually have a big issue and error. And why is that? It would automatically try updating to Django 3 and all that. I'm just trying to use the simplest word I can, and based on the fact that you wrote it in Django 1.1, it's gonna clash with Django 3 point whatever. So now when you create a virtual environment, it will be like, it will tell Django, hey, look, even if you have a new version, I do not want to tamper with the version over here that I created. I know I created it in 1.1. It's an older version. I do not want to tamper with it. Just leave it the way it is. Do not update anything. I know why I left it. So that's what the virtual environment is gonna tell Django. Now, when Django is updating its packages and all that and sees the virtual environment in the folder, it's just gonna skip it. Hopefully you understand what a virtual environment is. So that's what a virtual environment is, and I would highly recommend, provided you're building an application with Django, Flask, whatever, to make sure to create a virtual environment if the system or the technology supports it. So in order to create a virtual environment on Windows PC, all you have to say is py-m venv, and the next function that it's going to take is whatever you want the name of your virtual environment to be. In my case, let's say I want to name it Stack venv, something like that. Not still bad, but I just want to name it venv, virtual environment. So hopefully you understand. Py followed by -m venv venv. Hit enter, and give this a couple of seconds. It should go ahead and create our virtual environment, and after that we go ahead and activate it. So let's just give it a couple of seconds. Over here, I think it successfully created a virtual environment. All we have to do is just go into this virtual environment and install Django in it. So firstly, let's activate it. So you want to activate it, you call the name of the virtual environment. My name is VNV, yours can be whatever. So after that, it's gonna follow by a backslash, then scripts / activate.bat. You hit enter, and as you can see, we now have this over here at the back. That means that it's activated. And let me just get rid of this. I don't know how that get populated in here. So with that, now what I just want to do in here is install Django. So to install Django, we're going to be using pip, and all we have to do is say pip install Django, just like that. So pip install Django. Make sure you have an active internet connection or you are going to get an error. So pip install Django, you hit enter on your keyboard, and we give this a couple a minute or so to successfully download Django. Then we're going to go ahead and download other packages that we would be using for this project. Okay, and it successfully installed Django. Now we want to install Pillow. So in order to do that, we're going to say pip install Pillow. So pip install Pillow. So what is Pillow? Now, you remember I showed you guys that we're going to be working with profile pictures. We're going to be uploading profile pictures in our project. And whenever you want to do anything in Django that has to do with images, you want to install Pillow. So just have that at the back of your mind. But we are still going to work intensively with Pillow in this course. So for now, just install it, and we're going to get back to it later. And finally, we want to install Django Crispy Forms. So we're going to say pip install Django Crispy Forms, just like that. And what does Django Crispy Forms do? So we have this default form. Let's say you're a beginner, you're not going to understand this, but we're still going to talk about it in this course. But let's say you're not a beginner. We have like the default Django way of rendering a form, which is calling double curly brackets, then passing in form that has p in it. Now when we do that, our form doesn't actually look good, but with Django Crispy Form, it automatically arranges our forms, puts it in a nice order, makes the validation clearly, so that when you get an error, let's say the username already exists, then it's clearly going to show you in a red color the username exists. So that's what Django Crispy Form does. And I think that's pretty much all we have to do. Let's see the packages that we have now. So just do pip freeze, and let's see, as you can see, we have Pillow. Over here we have Django Crispy Forms, we have Django, and we have all these other things. So I want to clear up my terminal. I'm just going to say CLS, and it's going to clear up. So the next thing I want to do now is go ahead and create a Django project. So if we open this up, you will see that we have our virtual environment in it. If you open up this virtual environment folder, you will see that we have include in it, and there's nothing in there, but there's something in this one. This is where we have our libraries that we installed. For example, the Pillow, the Django Crispy Forms, the Django, and hopefully you remember. So when we open this up now, you will see that we have all those things that we installed. We have Django Crispy Forms, we have Pillow, we have Django over here, and we have a whole lot of things, but let's just go ahead and keep working. So I want to make a Django project, and how do you do that? So what's a Django project? A Django project is pretty much the head of our project. So you even had the name Django project, so it's like gonna house everything that we're going to do. Is going to contain the most vital files that we're going to be using. For example, the settings.py, the app, I think. Yeah, but don't worry, let's just create it. We're going to see all that in it. So you want to do that, or you want to say is Django-admin, then you call start project. Then we're gonna name this something. So let's just say we want to name it stack prj. That's stack project. Yeah, cool. So it's created a project, but how do we know? Let's open this up. Now you see that we have another folder in here that says stack prj. So when we open this up now, you see that we now have stack prj in here and manage.py. So again, something else that I'll be talking about in this video is the root directory. So whenever you hear me talk about root directory in Django, just know that it's wherever your manage.py file is stored. Just know that. So when I say go over to the root directory, just know that you are coming over here. Now when we open up this folder, you see that we have init.py. This is basically for making migrations and all that. We have this one, we have settings.py, the most volatile place, we have URLs and WSGI. So we're still going to talk about this. For now, let's just close this up and make our applications. So I'm just going to clear up my terminal. And we want to make apps. So what's apps in Django? Now apps are just like little site functionality or section. Yeah, let's use the word section of our websites. For example, let's say we want to create a blog function, then it's gonna have an application that handles that. Let's say we want to create an e-commerce section for our website. There's going to be a separate application, an app that handles that. And for example, let's say we want to create something like let's say we want to create user authentication, login, logout, register, profile, and all that. It's going to have its own app. So now I want to create an app, and we're just going to go into the project. We're going to stay cd into stack prj. So cd into stack prj. I'm going to clear up my terminal. So in order to create an app, you're going to say python manage.py start app. So use the function start app, and we're going to call whatever we want the name of our app to be. So in this project, we're going to have two applications. One is going to hold our main site functionality, asking of questions, editing of questions, and you understand what I'm trying to say. The other is going to house the user authentication, login, logout, profile, and all that. So let's create the one that's going to house let's say the user authentication. So we're going to say start app, then we're going to call it stack users. So it's going to create the app, and we're going to start another app. Just hit the up arrow on your keyboard, and it's going to bring up the last code. We're going to remove stack users, and we're going to change it to stack base. So stack base is going to hold all our, let's say, our ask questions, update questions, our comments, our likes, and all that. Hopefully you understand. So with this now, when we open this up, you will now see that we have stack base, we have stack users, and stack base. So when we open up one of these, you see that we now have some files in here that are really amazing. So let's just go ahead and close this up, and let's close this up. So back to our terminal, I'm just going to clear it out. The last thing we want to do is to make sure that our Django project is actually working fine. So if I come over here now and open up my Google Chrome, so I'm going to open up my Google Chrome, and I just want to open up an incognito window. I'm just pronouncing that slowly because I actually make mistakes whenever I'm trying to pronounce incognito. Yeah, whatever, incognito. Yeah. So I'm opening up an incognito window over here, but how do I actually access my Django projects here? So I have to create a development server for it, and in order to create a server for it, what you just want to say is python manage.py python manage.py run server, just like this. So you hit enter on your keyboard, give this a couple of seconds. As you can see, it says starting development server at the spot over here. And there's something that it says over here. It says you have 18 unapplied migrations. Your projects want to work properly until you apply the migrations for apps. So for now, don't just care about this. We're still gonna fix this later. But let's go ahead and run the spot and see what we have. So all we have to do now is just minimize this, come over here, and we're gonna come over to port 8000. So let's say you don't already have this here as a quick start guide, something like that. All you have to do is just come over to your URL, and you're gonna type in 12, and this should come up. And if it doesn't come up, it's 127, or just come over here, copy this over here, and let me just copy mine. I'm just gonna copy from here to here, and I'm gonna come over here and paste it. Hit enter. So what do you notice? Oh, it's still running the project from the last code. I think I didn't actually break the terminal for that one. Okay, this is it over here. So let me just break it and cancel this out. Now let's refresh this again. Okay, and this is what you are supposed to get. So it says the install worked successfully, and we are seeing this page because we do not have any URLs yet. we do not have any views, we do not have any template, and in our settings.py the bug is still equal to true. So if you're a total beginner, you don't want to start with Stack Base because with a Stack Overflow, because it's kind of advanced, you know. I would really recommend you have some knowledge about Django before you start it. But if you don't and you want to start learning Django by actually building something, it's totally nice. Trust me, you don't have to freak out. I'm gonna hold your hand, I'm gonna show you what to do from start to finish. Just chillax. Yeah, so this is what we have over here. The install worked successfully, and I told you guys we are seeing this because we don't have any URLs. So that's pretty much what we want to do. Let's go over and let's go ahead and open up our project in a code editor. So in this case, I'll be using the Visual Studio Code and PyCharm for this project. So I'm just gonna interchange between the both. Whatever I want to use at any time, I'm just gonna switch. But you can use whatever you want. There are a whole lot of code editors over there outside there on the web. For example, we have Atom. Let me show you guys. So as you can see, let me just type it out fully. We have Atom text editor. This is it over here. This is it. You can just go ahead and download it. It's totally free. We have I think we have Sublime Text. We have Sublime Text. Let me open that up. Sublime Text, come over here. So you see we have Sublime Text. You could go ahead and download this too. It's still really amazing. We have a whole lot. We still have PyCharm. I told you guys about it. We have Visual Studio Code. Make sure that if you don't have this, you want to come over here to code the Visual Studio Code and simply download this. So this is the one we'll be using for this project, and hopefully everything is going to work out fine. So I'm just going to close out all these windows that we open up my Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to open up the projects that we created on our desktop over here. So all I have to do is come over to my desktop. I'm just going to drag this project, come over to Visual Studio Code and open it up. Then I'm going to paste it in here just like that. So as you can see, it opens it up over here. As you can see, it says Stack Overflow, and we have our virtual environment. We have the Stack PRJ over here. Everything is really looking good now. So I think that's pretty much what we want to do. And the last thing I also want to do before we route URLs and end this off for this video is just show you guys how to install some basic extensions that's going to help us. So I want to open this up, and let me see. I think this is for extensions. So we're going to open this up. The first extension you want to install, if you're a beginner, you can do whatever you want to do. It's this pass name that I'm trying to do doesn't actually really matter. It's just that I actually like my code looking good when I'm coding. So you want to download Prettier. So just type pretty. I think it should come up. This is it over here. So we're just going to open up Prettier and we're going to install this. So what this does is just simply helps us format our code whenever we save it. So it's simply just helps us fix indentations and all that, and our code is going to look really amazing. So I'm going to download this. Another thing I want you to download is Django IntelliSense. So download Django. Let's see. This is it over here. This is it. Yep. So we're gonna install this. Okay, and it's installed. The last one I want you to download is Python. So just come over here, type Python IntelliSense, and I already have this downloaded, so you don't want to do that. So we download this, and also let's say we want to download a theme. So we could download Atom, or let's say Atom dark theme. I already have this. It will make your code look really nice. Then finally you can now download material icons. So material icons, what it's gonna do is just give you this icons over here. Like you see this icon, that means that it's Python. Let's open this up. You see all those icons over here that's making things look good. That's what it's gonna do. So you can download material icons. Let's just type that out so you actually see. So material icons, this is it over here. Just go ahead and download it, and everything is gonna look good and fine. So that's pretty much what we want to do for downloading of extension. Now, what I just want to do is just go ahead and make a very simple configurations in our settings.py, then make a very simple URL so that we actually change this page over here. So how do we do that? Firstly, we want to open up our settings.py. So we're going to open up settings.py over here, and firstly what we want to do is import OS. So we're going to import import OS over there. Now the next thing we want to do is come over here and install the apps that we installed. You remember the apps that we made, like this stack base, stack users. We're gonna install them. So I just made a hash comment with a hash that means own. So these are my own apps. Now I'm gonna name this stack base because that's the name of one of the app, and the name of another app is stack users. So let's come over here, change this to stack users. And also we installed Django crispy forms, so we want to install it. So we're just gonna say crispy_forms. So that's pretty much what you want to do. The next thing we want to do is just configure our template, so we have a place that our template is going to. So we're just gonna say os.parts.join. So we want to join. Let me actually get this right. So os.parts.join, and we're gonna open up a parentheses. So we want to join our base directory with a folder that's gonna be called templates. Just do it this way. If you're a beginner, you shouldn't understand this. It's totally cool, but you're still gonna understand as we go ahead and start doing more things in this video. So just do it this way and everything should work fine for you. So for now, I think that's pretty much what we're gonna do. Let's just go ahead and close this off. Then what you want to do now is come over to your root directory, and we're gonna create a new. Let's create a new folder called templates. Okay, so in this template, we're going to create a new file called home.html. So in this home.html, what we're going to do is very simple. Let's open up a HTML boilerplate code, but something's going on that I don't like. Let's change this from Django HTML to the actual HTML. So we're going to open up HTML boilerplate code just like that. We're going to name this home, and let's just change this to something. Let's just say Stack Overflow homepage, just like that. So now we did this. Now when we come over here and refresh, what do you want to see? Nothing. Yeah, nothing actually happens, and we even got an error. So our site is not running. Let's run our site again. Yeah, and we refresh this, we get nothing. So now how do we make this work? The first thing you want to do is route a URL. So how are we gonna route a URL? We just want to open up stack prj. We're gonna open up these URLs over here. We're gonna come down here and we're gonna define a new URL for that home. So with an empty string, we're gonna say firstly we want to import views. So we're gonna stay from stack. Okay, you know what, this way that I'm doing this now is not actually the right way, but I just want to do it this way so that we in the next video we're gonna do it the right way. But I just changed my mind. Let's go ahead and do it the right way. There's no need for wasting time. So all we have to do is come over to our stack base. So our stack base is where our home.html is going to be. So in our stack base, we're just going to create a new urls.py file, and this urls.py file I want to import from Django.parts. Let's just fix this from Django.parts. Let's see, something is actually going on. urls.py from Django.urls. We want to import parts. Yeah, that's what you want to do. Then also we want to say from .import views. Then finally we want to say let's define an app name. Let's say app name should be equal to stack base. Don't worry, you guys are going to understand all this. They want to say URL patterns should be equal to a part. This part is going to be an empty string, just like that. Then we're going to have views.home that we haven't created. Then we're also going to have a name that's going to be home. So I'm still going to explain all this, so don't freak out. Just do it the way I did it. Follow me. Then I'm still going to explain all this. So when you've done this, open up views.py. And in here, what we want to do is very easy. We're just going to create a function view, and we're going to call it home, passing requests into it, and we're going to return render. This render is going to have a parenthesis, so we're going to pass in a request as a first argument. We're going to pass in the home.html template that we created earlier, if you remembered. So with this now, when we come over here and refresh, nothing actually happens. Now we want to connect this URL py this URL file that we have over here with this one, which is the main URL file. Now, how do we do that? We want to include it. So we're going to import include just next to part. So the next thing we want to do is define the same part method, and we're going to pass in an empty string over there. And this empty string literally means that whenever a user comes to our homepage, we want to see that. But you see this one that has admin slash, when a user has to go over to /admin/ before they get whatever that's stored in this URL. Hopefully you understand. If you don't, do not freak out. I'm still going to explain. So with this now, I'm going to include this URL.py file over here. Now, the first thing it needs is, where is this URL.py file? As you can see, there's this small thing over here that says that it's in stack base. So we're going to type out stack base, and the name is URLs. So we're going to type out URLs, just like that, and we are done. So let's give a comma so we don't actually forget. Now, when we come over here now and refresh this, now let's see, we get an error. Let's get over to our terminal, and as you can see, our development server wasn't running. Let's clear this off and let's run it again. And see, it's running now. So what do you see? It says Stack Overflow homepage. So actually, we got something running, and it's really amazing. So over here too, we can also make another. Let's say we want to do something for the about page, so we could duplicate this. Ctrl+C is going to duplicate it. Then whenever we go to /about, make sure you add a comma over here. Then the view name is going to be about. We haven't created it, we're still going to create it, and this is going to be about, just like this. Now when we come over to views, we're going to duplicate this to this, paste it down here. We're going to call it about. We're going to change this to about.html. We're going to come over to the template, and we're going to create a new about.html. Okay, so it still has the Django HTML. I'm just going to change this to the real HTML. So we're going to open up a HTML boilerplate code, and we're going to change this to about. Then we're going to change this to h1, and we're going to say Stack Overflow about page, and that's pretty much what we want to do. Let's just come over here and see if everything's looking fine. So we have this, we have views for it, we have a template. So I want to explain something for you guys. Before you actually get something to show up here, you need three things. So you need a view, you need a URL, and you need a template. So a view is actually what's going to handle the displaying of everything over here. URL is what's going to handle the direction of where we are going to, and our template is simply where the Stack Overflow, the home page, whatever our designs are going to be stored. So you need three things. You need the template, which is this. You need to define a view, which is this or this. Then you need a URL. So with all this now, everything should be working fine. Make sure you add a comma or you're going to get an error. So now when we come over to /about, what do you notice? Okay, I didn't actually type that right. Let me get rid of the D over there. So as you can see, it says Stack Overflow about page. So everything is actually looking fine now, and we have really gone far in this video, setting things up, not looking bad so far. So I think that should be it for this video. Let's just round it up over here. This video is getting a little bit lengthy. I think we should just round it up over here. So that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully you guys learned something new, you enjoyed the video, and I know if you are not a beginner, you're gonna find this part really boring. I'm just gonna advise you skip it. Maybe skip it to the next, or let's say to the fourth video. Then we're gonna get fully into the project. But this is just for the beginners in our midst over here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, do not forget to drop a like, please, for the YouTube algorithm. It's really gonna help me and my small channel. And also please do not forget to drop a subscription on this video. Please consider subscribing, as it will mean the world to me. And finally, check out the links in the description, as one might be really helpful to you. I hope I'll see you guys in the next video. We're gonna do more amazing things, so you don't want to miss out. Drop a like, subscribe, and I'm gonna see you guys there. Mad love, peace out.